You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And the playoffs are upon us.
So what do we got left? 4 weeks of gambling? That's it?
That's it. And it gets... Well, Super Bowl's always fun because we prop it up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's probably one of the most fun podcasts of the year. Well, we do two, don't we?
Yeah.
Don't we usually do a prop show and then we do our Super Bowl pick show? But just to remind everybody before we forget, we're going to be going to one podcast a week from here on out because there's not a lot of games to recap, and we'll be able to do the bets and the recap in the same show. So it'll be Tuesdays. We'll do the podcast. It'll go up Wednesday, just like our regular pick show. So hope you're looking forward to making some money with us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Hey, we got there.
Playoffs. Yeah, with a profit.
Yes. All right. That said, you know what time it is. That's right. It's motherfucking game time. The Saturday night game. KC goes to Houston. KC are 3-point road favorites, but they're a pretty heavily bet 3-point road favorite. It's negative 125.
Yeah. Well, and just so this is the afternoon game. Saturday afternoon game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This game's on in the afternoon, then we get Steelers-Cincy late. This is one of the road favorites I don't mind. I can't see Houston. I know Houston's defense has played well of late. I just think Kansas City's defense is as good or better, and I trust Alex Smith a little more than Hoyer.
Yeah, I mean, and looking at the games, I mean, yeah, Houston's last 3 games were against Indy, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. None of those teams impresses me much. I mean, they did hold Jacksonville to 6, which is impressive because they can score. But they struggled with Indy. It was a 16-10 game, and that was with Matt Hasselbeck at quarterback.
And Indy has no defense.
No. Or defensive coordinator currently. But
yeah.
Previous to that 3-game run, New England put up 27 on them. Buffalo put up 30 on them. They held New Orleans pretty well. And, I mean, the Jets put up 17, Houston put up 24, but that was with Yates at quarterback, not even Hoyer.
Yeah, and well, the only thing that worries me about the Chiefs is win streaks don't go on forever. It's like they're due for a loss. But I just can't see Houston being that team.
Yeah, and I've been a naysayer on KC lately. In that...
Well, just on their spreads.
Yes, exactly. They've been laying too many points for a long time. They only beat Oakland by 6.
Yeah, but we didn't think Oakland
4.
was bad.
No, but they beat Cleveland by 4 in KC. They handled Baltimore fine, but, they only put up 10 points on San Diego.
Yeah, we can say that about every team in this. When we go through these games, we'll be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Every team. If you go down the list, you can pull out that one game in the last month where they sucked ass.
Yeah, but in both these cases, there's a couple of games. And you're right. Your overall assessment, I agree with, which is Alex Smith is better.
They just don't give up points. Yeah, they're only win. Yeah, they beat San Diego 10-3, but they only gave up 3 fucking points. Where San Diego hung 20 on Denver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just Kansas City's defense has played as well as any the last 10 weeks of the season. It had nothing to do with their offense why they were winning games.
No.
Really, or covering spreads when they did. It was their defense that was getting touchdowns. So do I think Hoyer's got a couple in him? Yep. Houston's going to have no running game with Alfred. They haven't had one since Foster went down again. If Foster was playing, this thing would be a pick'em. Or maybe even Houston favored by 1. But Alfred Blue hasn't done it. Their running game has done nothing.
Alfred Blue has a couple of 100-yard games over the last 3 weeks, but we just discussed the opposition.
What was it? Shrimp and what? The fuck was that poke? His mom said during Hard Knocks, shrimp and what? When he'd run?
I can't remember.
Fuck. Oh. He's not going to do anything. If you can shut down DeAndre Hopkins, their offense is 0.
Yes.
And with Hoyer throwing the ball, I can't see Houston upsetting them. I know their defense is good. Did Watt play without a cast last week? He took it off and they were testing it out, but I'd never heard if he played without it or not.
No, I never did hear.
I don't think it matters. They lost one of their linebackers, though, with a torn quad.
Okay. I heard Macklin didn't make first practice of the week, but that's not uncommon. I mean, I'll worry about that if he doesn't practice Friday, you know?
But that's where we get into trouble betting early. Is we don't know all this shit. It happens after we made our bet when they rule guys out.
Yeah. That said, I think KC's definitely in the mix, even at the bad price.
Yeah.
You know me, I mean, price is interesting, but I don't really like to sweat it. I mean, the first step is still picking the damn winner.
Yeah, and the only way I could see taking Houston was if we did a teaser. Be the only way I could see it getting Houston involved. 9 would be too much if we teased at 6. But yeah, I'm on Kansas City.
Okay. Yeah, the second game of Saturday. Sorry about my faux pas there. For some reason, Bet365 put a line.
Yep, I've done that before. When you're doing it on a phone or tablet, it rates it. Or before, if you don't log in, it shows you in like British time.
Okay, because they show no games on Sunday. I wasn't paying attention, so my apologies.
Yeah.
The second Saturday game, Pittsburgh -2.5 at Cincy.
Okay. This is in consideration, I think, for our underdog pick, or it might even just be a pick. Okay. I don't mind Cincinnati. The home dogs aren't going to lose every fucking game.
No.
Every game, the home team's a dog.
Yeah, that's unprecedented, isn't it?
I don't remember that. Like, every home team's a dog. They're not all losing. So, the last time since he played Pittsburgh, McCarron had to come in and take over for Dalton. Which I think, how many snaps would he have got throughout the year? He's been playing for a month. He doesn't look bad.
No, he doesn't look great, but he looks like a league average quarterback. He doesn't look out of his head.
Well, for a backup, he looks better than the league average.
Yes. Now, Pittsburgh won by 13, but as you pointed out,
they got a pick 6 with McCarron.
Yes.
Threw that one to the sidelines.
Yeah, that was brutal, but they also don't have D'Angelo Williams, as far as I know.
No. But when he hobbled off the field, he couldn't even put any weight on the ankle. And running backs with high ankle sprains or ankle sprains aren't really that great.
No.
And if you look at Pittsburgh's last 2 weeks, they had trouble scoring against Cleveland.
Yeah, they covered the 16-point margin of victory was not that indicative of the game.
No, they didn't coast to that.
No.
They got there halfway through the fourth quarter to a cover position.
Yeah, and that was on 3 consecutive Cleveland turnovers.
And and not that Manziel's a great quarterback, but he would have given Pittsburgh more trouble than Austin Davis.
Yes.
So I like Cincinnati here. I like their defense better than Pittsburgh.
Well, overall, they're a good team.
I like their running game better. I like their screen game better. Antonio Brown could have 150 yards and a touchdown in this game, and I still think they lose.
Yeah, Cincy has a better tight end, a better receiving core, better running backs, inferior quarterback, but...
Yeah, but they have a better offensive and defensive line. Have decent linebackers. Like that Denver game, if that's played at not at altitude, I think Cincy beats Denver.
Yeah, that defense sure looked gassed.
Their whole team, offensive line, defensive line, looked like they were fucking gassed in the fourth quarter.
I mean, I don't know why everyone's forgotten how good AJ Green is. Have you noticed he's not even being mentioned with the other receivers now? Yeah, Julio and Brown put up ridiculous things. I still wouldn't mind AJ Green on my team.
No, and Hopkins is a new kid on the block, so he's getting more pub than fucking AJ Green. And it's like you said, talking about fantasy with Cincinnati, there's no one guy that stands out.
No,
they just have a
that really hurt
attack.
my season because different guys would score in different weeks.
Yeah, they have a balanced attack. I think Eifert plays a big role in this game because any good tight end is a nice little safety blanket for a quarterback, especially a young one in a pressure game. And I think Hill and what's the other fucker's name?
Giovanni Bernard.
Yeah, are huge in this game. They have to have a big games for Cincinnati. I don't know. I like Cincinnati. I don't if it's the Dalton factor, like their streak's got to end too. If I was talking about Kansas City being due for a loss, Cincy's due for a win. And Pittsburgh they backed into the playoffs. A must win against Baltimore, who Baltimore has a shitty defense, and they couldn't score on them.
Ryan Mallett put up 274 yards in that Baltimore game on Pittsburgh. Ryan fucking Mallett. A.J. McCarron looks as good as Mallett to me.
Well, and he's had a month worth of playing time.
Yeah, and he doesn't ever look overwhelmed. Like, I mean, I guess when coming in cold in the first Pittsburgh game...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because up until Dalton got injured, he would have taken no first-team snaps.
No.
Or very few. So I don't mind him as a quarterback. Like, there's teams that could use him at quarterback right now in the NFL. You don't think he's better than anything they've got in Cleveland?
Yeah.
For sure.
But by far. No, I don't. I'm not in disagreement on this. All right. The Sunday games. Seattle -5 at Minnesota. Looks to be brutally goddamn cold.
We're only betting 3. This is my pick of the game to leave out.
Okay.
Because I have no idea.
Yeah, if we're only betting 3, that's okay. I kind of like Minnesota here.
I don't mind them. But I have no idea which one's going to show up.
Yeah, it's true. They're more inconsistent than...
I like their defense. But which one's showing up? The one that got blown out by Seattle? And do I trust Teddy Bridgewater against the Seahawk defense?
Again? I mean, he shook one monkey off his back with the Green Bay win, but...
They got skunked like less than a month ago by Seattle.
I think Stephon Diggs is going to be good in the long term, but he's been shut down pretty well. And with Adrian Peterson being a little gimpy on the field on Sunday night...
Well, all they're going to do Seattle's going to do is make Bridgewater beat them again. Peterson's not going to do fuck all. They're going to put 9 in the box. They've got corners good enough to cover the receivers in Minnesota one-on-one. And good luck with fucking armpit throwing Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, and, after the St. Louis thing, we still go back to Seattle scoring 30 points in every game since Week 10, with the exception of scoring 29 against the Niners.
And that's the only thing that makes me want to exclude Seattle from being our pick, is that game against fucking the Rams.
Because Minnesota looks a lot like the Rams to me.
Yeah, and that's
why I'm favoring Minnesota, but I agree with you. If we're skipping a game, this is it.
Yeah, well, there's no use veering off our philosophy of 3 games a week.
No.
Now.
No,
especially I don't want to. I'd rather go 1-2 than 1-3.
Yeah, and I meant to talk to you before we started recording about what we were going to do, but that was exactly my opinion. So
just stick with what we've done. When it gets down to 2 games, yes, we'll bet 2.
Oh yeah, we'll figure out what we're doing.
But when there's 4, we bet 3. Because if we go fucking 0 in the playoffs, I want to have money to bet at the end. And these lines are, I said it to you before. I liked one line in this fucking whole thing.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to take Mini. Just for the record.
I'm taking Seattle.
Okay.
I just don't think the Vikings can score enough. Because the games they're successful, Peterson's successful. And I think Seattle will just shut that down. They'll take Peterson out of the game, and then their offense falls apart. Bridgewater's not good enough to carry that team. And if they get down 7, fuck, lights out.
Down 10.
7.
Let's call it 2 possessions.
No, I'm saying they get down 7, they're out of it.
Okay. All right, and the final game of the weekend. Green Bay -1 at Washington.
And this was the line I liked.
I'm hoping you're saying Washington.
Yes.
Okay. No, this is my favorite too.
Kirk Cousins was statistically, I believe, a top 5 quarterback this year.
And since you like that game, the comeback against Tampa Bay, Washington, okay, the next week they struggled against New England. They put up 10, but then they put up 47, 16 versus Carolina, 20. It's not quite as good as I thought, but they have put up 24, 35, 38, and 34 this month.
And I don't know what Green Bay has. They have no receivers that get open, get no real separation, as witnessed against Minnesota when fucking Rodgers was picked off in the end zone on 4th and goal. The running game is inconsistent. I don't know if the defense has anything of value. Could they put up 30 and win 30-23? Yep. But the way that offense has struggled this whole season, Like, it wasn't just they're fading at the end of the year. They had that one good game against Minnesota where they fucking tricked everybody into thinking they turned it around.
Yep.
And every game after that, they fucking struggled. They had 30 against Oakland. And that was aided more by fucking Derek Carr interceptions than Aaron Rodgers' brilliance. And we didn't mind Washington's defense for a lot of the year.
No, they've been giving up low 20s, but
they get a pass rush. They have a running game. They have a tight end. And they have a quarterback. Could Cousins fucking throw 3 picks? Definitely. But the way Green Bay's offense is set up now, I have no confidence in them. Could they do a New York Giants and run the table here, win 4 straight and win the Super Bowl? Yeah, probably. They have a good enough quarterback to do it if he gets hot. I just don't think they have the talent around him.
No, and their O-lines looked shaky. And even when, it used to be if Aaron Rodgers broke out of the pocket when the protection went, he'd buy enough time, look downfield, and find a target. He's looking. No, even then, no one is getting separation.
Well, what happened to Randall Cobb? Didn't he used to be fast and return kicks? Like, that's where he started. As a rookie, he was a kick returner. And sometimes third down receiver.
Maybe he just can't run precise routes, or maybe a lot of the defensive coordinators all looked and said, okay, when Rodgers breaks contain, you have to hold your coverage for an extra 3 seconds. Don't be looking back at it. If we've got any speed at linebacker or on the line, pursue from there. Like, don't panic and try to take down Rodgers.
Well, and Rodgers' favorite receiver is James Jones. Isn't he like 40?
Yeah.
He's fucking slow as molasses. His experience gets him open.
Yeah, but not on shorter a consistent basis.
No.
Right?
On the short passes, on the 10-yard, he's a good possession receiver and decent in the red zone for him. But he's not beating you one-on-one deep.
And after his first 4 carries, like on Sunday night, I said, oh, here we go. The second game Eddie Lacy will show up for this year. But after his first 3 carries went for 6 or 7, he was just getting murdered. And he had no zip. He wasn't hitting the holes. He wasn't... Yeah, he ran on Dallas, and he ran on Minnesota. So, no, I like Washington at home, too.
Okay, we're in agreement there. So there's not much discussion needed. We've eliminated Seattle, Minnesota. So We're taking Kansas City -3. And they're -125. Our $10 bet pays $18. That's a big price to pay.
Yeah, but
I just can't bet. I can't bet Houston. If Houston wins, I'll tip my cap to them, but I can't bet them. Well, I'll probably curse them on the podcast instead of tipping my cap, but
it would take some sort of Andre Reed meltdown. But one other thing about the KC Houston game too, Alex Smith has playoff experience and really, really played well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
No, we talked about this Sunday or even last night before the podcast about the Alex Smith. Kansas City doesn't beat themselves since that Denver game where they gave that one away to open the first or second game of the season. Second game of the season. They gave that one away on their own fuck-ups, but they haven't been beating themselves. So I trust Alex Smith more than Brian Hoyer.
Agreed.
There might be a little Ryan Fitzpatrick and Brian Hoyer on Saturday. Okay, so we're taking Cincinnati We're taking the 2.5.
Yep.
And so Cincinnati's getting 2.5 at home against the Steelers. $10 bet pays $20 even. Booked. Then we're skipping Seattle, Minnesota.
And we're
You
split
took
on
Minnesota.
it. Yep.
And I took Seattle -5. So for our last bet, we're going 2 underdogs, and I'm not taking the points. We'll bet this on the money line. It's a little better price.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're taking Washington on the money line -105. $10 pays $19.52. Booked. And like we mentioned during the podcast, I can't ever remember the 4 home teams to start the playoffs as underdogs.
No, someone will put that up and look into it, but it seems completely unprecedented to me. But, okay, to recap, we have KC -3 at Houston. 10 pays 18. We have Cincy plus 2.5 at home versus Pittsburgh. $10 pays 20. And we have Washington on the money line over Green Bay. Washington's at home. $10 pays $19.52.
All right. If you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter @OffensiveLines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Facebook.com/OffensiveLines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And those were our picks for the Wildcard round.
Please don't fuck us, Kirk Cousins.
Degenerate fucking gambler.